Friends, and good morning on Friday, Venus Day, the end of this working week, and one of the most intense days during this month because today is the most stationary Pluto phase. Pluto is turning direct during the night or very early in the morning, depending on where you are. But in every case, right now, Pluto is at its most intense phase right before turning direct. And because of that, there could be a very strong energy that can affect us and may trigger different processes and things that may feel more beyond our control, things that could be feeling us either wanting to have power or feeling like we don't have enough power, or in some extreme cases, even feeling powerless. So overall, this focus of how much power I have in my life can be very important right now. Again, for some of us, this may feel more like realizing that we don't have enough power, but also this can serve as a motivation to do more things to get back, or generally to get more power in your own control, in your own hands. And Pluto creates this extreme motivation and commitment. And sometimes it may even feel like, I will do whatever it takes. This is so important. So, especially when Pluto is more unbalanced, it may feel too much. It might be a bit like either like an obsession or like, things are generally out of balance. So keep this in mind. From one side, be careful from some kind of really spontaneous decisions. Instead, try to focus more on things that you have already decided are important for you. And if you have some kind of extreme impulse to do something right away and you can't wait, you can't postpone, you can't think about it, most likely that's an indication that this is not really okay. Whenever we feel this impulse that something has to happen right away and we can't wait and it has to be, exactly in the way that we want, there are always some kind of complicating energies underneath that. So be careful. But on the other side, if you've been working in some direction, after all, Pluto is still in Capricorn, so it's about some kind of long-term commitments, some things that we've been doing and maybe even building up, or it's like something that feels like a foundation for something in the future. Then in this case, this Pluto stationary phase can help us to become even more determined and committed, and even to have some kind of significant process to kind of like get in touch with more power and energy to accomplish something that really feels important. And most likely this will apply again if it's not just a random impulse that I have right now. I don't know, I want to become, this is just a joke, but let's say suddenly I want to become like a circus artist. And I have never done anything like this before. So if such sudden random ideas come to mind, then most likely, that's just a way to escape from something. But if this is about an area where you've been interested and you've been working for a while and you know that it's a big part of your life, then to do something with more commitment or to kind of like try to go even deeper into this can actually be great. Next, funny thing also, yesterday it seems like I have made some kind of mistake with the settings. So the software showed us the chart for the sunrise. So basically what happens is that the moon that we were expecting to have a conjunction with Pluto yesterday will actually get to the exact aspect today. Just as a side note, I was interested, like, okay, where did this mistake come from? And the transiting Mars was currently on my ascendant, and there was this square with the sun. And I told you yesterday that, and we will feel this aspect for the next couple of days as well. And this is an aspect which can bring this energy to want to go in one direction, but to take actions kind of like in a different way, or to be difficult to synchronize your desires and your actions. So just a funny, interesting example how, even those energies are playing out, on such a, how to say that, uh, obvious level. So it gets even more interesting because it turns out that the conjunction between the moon and Pluto will be at the most stationary phase of Pluto, which of course the moon is always like a trigger. The moon is the one that is kind of like releasing the energies that have been building up from other aspects and planets. And they are kind of like waiting for something to really give the last impulse. So the moon is giving this last impulse for Pluto's energy. So very, very intense combination. And be mindful. Take care of your emotional well-being. Don't push yourself too much. If you have some kind of sometimes more negative moods or negative thoughts, or again, something feels extreme, that's totally the moon with Pluto stationary. The best you can do is to be aware of that. If something again feels too much of something, it could be too dark, too negative, you are too critical or too afraid, or you have doubts, or the opposite. You feel like, okay, now I will do it, or I don't want to wait anymore, or anything that feels as extreme as that, or kind of close to it. Just be aware that it comes from this conjunction. So try to pause, because when such energies affect us, they feel very objective, and it may feel like, okay, that's it, kind of like it is like this right now, and there is a feeling that it will be like that. Like, it's like a background, like a general atmosphere that will not change. And this is never true. Those things always change, especially if they're triggered by the moon. So pause. That's the best you can do. You may have some ideas. Again, moon, Pluto can help us to go really deep into something. So maybe write down your ideas or explore something. Just don't rush with the actions. That's the most important. And this upcoming applying square between Mars and the Sun also suggests that we shouldn't be too impatient. We shouldn't take action on those immediate, especially irrational impulses, because Mars in Cancer can trigger such type of, kind of like the inner child within us wants to do something. And again, it could sound like I want to be a circus artist or something, I have never done before. So be mindful today. Don't rush. If something feels too much of something, don't kind of like dive too much into it. Don't kind of like boil in those energies too much. Instead, try to detach. Okay, you observe it, you give this a place, but wait, because the energy again will shift, and your desires may change, or the way you see things will most likely change. So just so you know, don't get hooked on those kind of like things that feel, okay, that's extremely something, extremely negative, extremely bad, or whatever. Like anything that you would like to label as extreme today, uh, even if it feels like, okay, that's how it really is and it will be like that, no, it will not. So you better not make decisions from this point, from this perspective, that something is extremely something. So that's how things look like. Again, later during the day, we will really finally have the moon in Aquarius. So there could be some lightness, but honestly, I wouldn't count too much on it, because with this Pluto stationary phase, it might take a while to be able to feel some kind of lightness. So the atmosphere will change, especially towards the second half of the day, the end of the day. It might get a bit more like dynamic in a way, or we may see different options, or we might be able to make some kind of connections. But again, I'm not counting on too much lightness yet. But again, if we want more depth and to be more serious about something, then that's a great time. The most important, don't get hooked with something that feels scary, you have really lots of doubts, or whatever Plutonian stuff might be happening. So, have a wonderful day, my friends. Enjoy your Friday, and I will see you tomorrow.